Spring and summer coming up fast, bringing along temperatures that will invite South Dakotans to get outdoors. But if you plan to purchase an electric bike or a scooter, you need to be aware of some hidden dangers. Hannah Eckwall takes a look for us in tonight's Safety Check.
According to Consumer Reports, lithium-ion batteries, which power e-bikes and e-scooters, can cause fast-spreading fires that are difficult to extinguish.
Because of the amount of energy they pack, it is vitally important that manufacturers follow best safety practices and that these are designed and built responsibly. Unfortunately, when they are poorly made, overused, charged too long, or even tampered with, they can overheat and explode.
In 2023, malfunctioning lithium-ion batteries were linked to almost 245 fires and 18 deaths in New York City.
Never charge these things overnight. Never charge them in your bedroom. You want to make sure that you're awake and you know where they're charging, and then you unplug them the second they've reached their full charge.
As e-bikes and e-scooters have continued to gain popularity, production of unsafe products has grown as well.
And just make sure they have a legitimate website with contact information should something go wrong. You can also check to see that the battery is UL certified. That stands for Underwriters Laboratories, and that's the existing voluntary safety standard that we have right now.
With the hope to reset the consumer standards for lithium-ion batteries and ensure that production of faulty batteries is eliminated from e-bikes and e-scooters, H.R. 1797 has made its way through the House and now awaits approval in the Senate.
We do need, at a federal level, minimum safety standards, and that's what the bill in Congress right now would do. It would direct the Consumer Product Safety Commission to establish minimum safety standards for all batteries used in e-bikes and e-scooters.
Now at this time, the most recent recall comes from Walmart of the Swagtron SG5 Swagger 5 Boost commuter electric scooters with lithium-ion batteries due to fire and burn hazards. To find out more, head over to dakotanewsnow.com and click Safety Check. In Sioux Falls, Hannah Eckwall, Dakota News Now.
And as always, if there is something you would like us to safety check, you can email us a suggestion to news@dakotanewsnow.com.